I have concerns going both ways. When a judge says those 6 words to 2 parents in a custody hearing, you know you aren't just looking at a legal dispute. You're looking at a total collapse of a family unit under the weight of reality TV fame. For years, we've watched Taylor Frankie Paul navigate the mom talk world with a level of transparency that most people would find terrifying. But the last 72 hours have officially shifted the narrative from messy drama to systemic failure. Taylor Frankie Paul didn't just lose her latest TV gig. This week, she lost the right to be alone with her youngest son. The courts have officially stepped in to label her behavior volatile, and as we approach a definitive April 30th trial date, the secret life she's been selling to Hulu might be the very thing that costs her everything. The factual reality of this Tuesday's hearing in Salt Lake City was a grim departure from the polished TikToks we're used to seeing. Court Commissioner Russell Minez presided over a hearing that felt more like an autopsy of a relationship than a custody arrangement. The ruling was clear: Taylor cannot have unsupervised time with 2-year-old ever. For now, she's restricted to just 8 hours a week of supervised visits. This decision was heavily influenced by a May 2025 video, one that hasn't been released to the public, which reportedly shows Taylor pushing Dakota and screaming for him to leave while he was holding their child. The court-appointed lawyer for the toddler, Michael McDonald, was blunt, stating that Taylor has a very difficult time with self-control and that her volatility puts the child at risk. While Dakota currently holds the primary custody, the judge acknowledged concerns both ways, especially after Taylor filed her own protective order alleging that Dakota physically assaulted her in his truck as recently as February of this year. The public reaction to this ruling has been a lightning rod for the mom talk community. Viral clips of creators dissecting the court documents are currently trending, and the social media debate is split down a very jagged line. On one side, you have those who believe Taylor is being provoked by Dakota, who her lawyers claim uses the child as a human shield to trigger her. On the other side, there is a growing group of critics who argue that her history, including the 2023 chair-throwing incident, shows a pattern that no amount of PR spin can fix. The TikTok comments are a war zone. People are arguing about whether Dakota is retaliating because she's the one with the fame, or if he's genuinely trying to protect his son from a mother who hasn't found stability. This situation escalated because the stakes were raised to an industrial level. This isn't just a private breakup, it's a $1 million corporate problem. Taylor was slated to lead the latest season of The Bachelorette, a move that was supposed to be her ultimate redemption arc. When the network pulled the show just days before the premiere due to these escalating abuse allegations, it signaled that the industry is no longer willing to bank on volatile stars. Context is key here. Taylor is currently on a 3-year probation for a 2023 aggravated assault charge. These new allegations don't just affect her custody, they could technically trigger a probation violation that leads to actual jail time. At Original Commentary and Analysis, what does this say about influencer culture and the Mormon wives phenomenon in 2026? It says that we have reached the darkest timeline for reality TV. We've incentivized these women to monetize their most traumatic moments, polyamory scandals, arrests, and breakups for the sake of Hulu ratings. But now, the performance has bled into the parenting. When your life is a script, how do you know when to stop acting? It affects Taylor's reputation by painting her as a liability rather than a lead. In the eyes of a judge, 35 million followers don't matter if you can't keep your hands off your partner while holding a toddler. Maintain a conversational tone, but let's be honest. The human shield allegation is one of the most disturbing details to come out of this hearing. Taylor's attorney, Swinyard, argued that Dakota deliberately provokes her to get clips for court. If that's true, it's a calculated level of psychological warfare. But even if it is true, the judge's point remains: you have to be able to control yourself. The analytical tone of the legal experts following this case is clear. The courts don't care about who started it. They care about who is the safety risk. And right now, the court believes that person is Taylor. We have to clearly separate the confirmed details from the online theories. It is a confirmed fact that Taylor is limited to supervised visits until at least April 30th. It is a confirmed fact that police in Draper City are investigating multiple domestic assault reports from earlier this year. The online theories, however, are speculating that Taylor and Dakota are actually secretly back together and using this legal drama to drum up hype for the next season of Secret Lives. Fans have pointed to recent social media clues suggesting they were in the same location. There is zero evidence for this, and given the severity of the protective orders, it would be a massive legal risk for both of them. Another theory is that Hulu is actually filming this legal battle for a special episode, which adds a layer of cynicism to the whole ordeal. The pacing of the story is moving in frantic, dramatic bursts. We had the Bachelorette cancellation, then the emergency protective order, then the mini-win for Dakota, and now the dueling allegations of dashboard slamming and human shields. It's a slower, more painful analytical process for the fans who genuinely care about the kids. They aren't just characters in a book of thorns. They are real children caught in a cycle of what Dakota's lawyer calls abuse that keeps him coming back. This leads us to a bigger industry question. When does content become evidence? We are seeing more and more reality stars lose custody because the very footage they filmed for fame is being played back in front of a judge to prove they are unfit. The future impact of this case will likely change how networks like Hulu and ABC vet their talent. If Taylor Frankie Paul, the face of #MomTalk, can't survive the scrutiny of a custody hearing, who can? The unresolved tension is the April 30th hearing. That is the day the stopgap ends. Either Taylor proves she has gained self-control and gets her son back, or the court turns these temporary orders into a long-term reality. The future impact on her career is already visible. Production is paused, shows are canceled, and her brand is now synonymous with volatility. Ultimately, the story of Taylor Frankie Paul in 2026 isn't a secret life. It's a very public warning. It's a warning about what happens when your personal growth doesn't keep up with your digital growth. By the time the next hearing rolls around, the world will see if Taylor can trade the influencer persona for the fit parent reality. But for now, the 8 hours of supervised time she gets with Ever are the only hours that truly matter. Do you think Taylor is being unfairly targeted because of her past? Or is the court right to be very nervous about her ability to control herself? Let's talk about it in the comments.